Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Brighton Town Board. It's June 11th, 2025, and I'm pleased to have you all here tonight. In just a moment, we will begin the open forum portion of our meeting after we have some proclamations. The open forum is the opportunity for members of the public to share their comments with the town board. If you are live streaming on YouTube, and you want to participate remotely in the open forum, you will have to go to our Teams broadcast, and there are directions for doing that on the town's website, www.townofbrighton.org. We're very proud that, as we have done for many years now, all of our meetings are accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community, thanks to our ASL interpreters. Tonight, our two interpreters are, that's Michael Fisher you see now, and Samantha Geffen, who will be signing for us tonight. Thank you both very much. As a reminder to everyone, the agenda for tonight's meeting, as well as all of the supporting material, is available on the table outside the door, and it is also available on the town's webpage. If you would please rise or rise in spirit. If you're unable to do so physically, we'll start with a pledge to the flag. Councilmember Werner, if you would lead us, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Why don't you join me for that? We do have three proclamations tonight, and our first proclamation is the celebration of Caribbean American Heritage Month, and I'd like to invite Alan Prescott to join us here at the podium. And if you have family that you'd like to join us, by all means. Family in the inclusive sense, that's right. Love it, love it. Great to have you here. And I'm very bad at blocking people. Well, as I said, June is Caribbean American Heritage Month. And tonight, the Brighton Town Board wants to recognize the importance of the month and to recognize the importance of the work that the Rochester West Indies Festival organization does here in the Rochester area to raise awareness of the important role of people of Caribbean descent here in the greater Rochester community. The Caribbean community in Rochester is diverse, and members of the community have leadership positions in the business sector, the not-for-profit sector, and the government sectors here. Councilmember Wilt and I will read this proclamation, and we will present it to Mr. Prescott, Alan Prescott, President of the Rochester West Indies Festival Organization. It's tough to get these with everything here on the, but we've got this. Whereas Caribbean American Heritage Month celebrates 20 years since it was created by Congress to elevate the achievement and dreams of the millions of people of Caribbean origin now living in the United States, and
whereas this year's theme, Celebrating Caribbean Contributions to American History, Life, and Culture, highlights the significant contributions of Caribbean Americans throughout history, including Alexander Hamilton, a founder of this country and first Secretary of the Treasury. And
whereas tonight we honor the Rochester West Indies Festival Organization, the WFIFO, I'm sorry, let me start that one again. RWIFO, whose mission is to promote Caribbean culture through workshops, holding an annual festival, and partnering with other community groups. And
Whereas founded in 1983, the organization is comprised of members from different Caribbean islands and perhaps most notably sponsors CariFest, a spectacular of Caribbean culture that begins with a parade in downtown Rochester, followed by a festival at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park, and
whereas dedicated to education, the RWIFO not only teaches others about Caribbean life and Caribbean Americans' contributions to this country, but also provides scholarships to minority students, broadening their knowledge and horizons in kind. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of the members of the Brighton Town Council, do hereby recognize June as Caribbean Heritage Month in the town of Brighton and thank the RWIFO for their leadership in sharing Caribbean culture. And this proclamation is signed this 11th day of June, 2025, by all of the members of the Brighton Town Council. And I'm very honored to present it to you, to thank you for your work, and offer you the podium.
I'm sure we did.
So, Town Supervisor, thank you for the recognition. Council Member Will, all of the council members, thank you. Most of all, we could not do it without your support, and I couldn't do it without the support of everybody you see behind me. We've got our treasurer back there, past president back there, our vice president's back there, so it's not just a one-man band, it's definitely a team effort. So thank you guys for the recognition on behalf of the Rochester West Indian Festival Organization. Here we go.
You got it. Tell us about, do you have dates for CariFest set for this year?
CariFest is taking place on August 9th, MLK Park, and right now we're in the middle of the Caribbean American Month celebration, or Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration, and we've got a list of events that are available online. But the best way to do it is if you want to find out more information about what we do and what we stand for, log on to rwifo.org. All of our information and events are on there.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Oh, sure. Yes. Oh, yeah. He's in. Thank you, Laura.
thank you so much.
Okay, our second proclamation this evening is to celebrate Pride. Most of the country celebrates Pride in June, but many years ago, the LGBTQ community in Rochester began celebrating Pride in July. The thinking was to allow community members to celebrate Pride in other communities, New York, Toronto, and other places during June, and then come back and have homegrown Pride here in July. And I think the idea is really taken off. And, you know, as we all know, inclusion, equality, equal rights for all members of the LGBTQIA2S plus communities should be the rule 12 months of the year. But we do want to give special recognition to Pride during the months of June and July, particularly in light of the continuing struggles faced by the community during these really unprecedented, chaotic times, or at least unprecedented in recent times. This proclamation was first presented to Braden Reese, the founder of Rochester LGBTQ+ Together, at the town of Brighton's Pride celebration at the Brighton Farmers Market a week ago Sunday on June 1st. But I think it's important that we reiterate how important Pride is to the Brighton community, to the members of the LGBTQIA2S+ community, and to all Brightonians. So we will be reading it again tonight. Whereas, representing people from across all cultures, incomes, geographies, and religions, the LGBTQ+ community has helped people embrace who they are and love who they love. Whereas, the LGBTQ+ community has worked tirelessly for respect, equality, and their very right to exist, while pursuing legal protections and expanding civil rights for us all. For us all. And whereas during this perilous time for democracy and human rights in America, our celebration of Pride ensures that the voices of the LGBTQ+ community and their allies are heard and not silenced. Whereas the theme of this year's Pride Month is, quote, the fabric of freedom, an acknowledgement of the threads that unite us, and a reflection on the interconnectedness that makes community, ties together neighborhoods, and brings all people together. Whereas Pride reminds us to remain vigilant and to continue to take action to advance the cause of equality for the diverse LGBTQ+ community, especially in this unprecedented time, as hard-won rights are torn away and our fabric of freedom is at a very real risk of unraveling. Whereas the town of Brighton loudly, proudly celebrates Pride, and again, I would note this was first presented at the market, proudly celebrates Pride today at the Brighton Farmers Market and next month through a special event, display of the spectacular Brighton Pride flag, and by participating in the Rochester Pride Parade. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and the members of our Town Council do hereby commit to uplifting Pride in the town of Brighton and urge all members to join us in this celebration. And again, as I said, this proclamation was first signed on the first day of June 2025. And I think we, again, this year may be the only town that marches together, employees, volunteers, family and friends, in the Pride Parade. So we're really, that's something we're really looking forward to. The Pride Parade is July 19th, and our event here at SUNY Empire State University, which will be held at noon on Friday, July 11th. So all are invited to that event. And then our final proclamation tonight recognizes Juneteenth. As we all know, Juneteenth marks the entry, June 19th, 1865, the day that Union General Gordon Granger and his troops marched into Galveston, Texas, and ordered that the Emancipation Proclamation be observed in Texas. Of course, this is after the end of the Civil War. The Civil War was over by that time. It wasn't in Texas. Maybe not the first time. Been a little behind the times. Juneteenth, though, today is a federal holiday. And all members of the community are invited to join us, as the town of Brighton will again be celebrating Juneteenth at the Brighton Farmers Market this coming Sunday morning. Whereas, in anticipation of President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation going into effect on January 1, 1863, enslaved and free African Americans gathered in homes and churches for the first watch night, anxiously awaiting the stroke of midnight to mark the end of the horror that was slavery. Whereas it was not until June 19, 1865, when 2,000 Union troops entered Galveston, Texas, that the last slaves were set free, and the Emancipation Proclamation was shared with all the occupants of this final outpost of slavery. Whereas free, but still constrained socially and economically, the following celebration by freed slaves in Texas became an annual tradition for generations of descendants. And Juneteenth was spread across the country by African Americans moving in search of better opportunities. Whereas sometimes referred to as the nation's second Independence Day, Juneteenth finally became a national holiday in 2021, and it is both a celebratory and a somber day as we commemorate African American freedom and gather to truthfully acknowledge a terrible period in U.S. history that continues to influence our society today. Whereas Juneteenth is a time for reflection and rejoicing, and also for assessment, self-improvement, and planning the future. Let us unite in our determination to join the ongoing struggle of African Americans to achieve equality in all facets of society, so that they may live without fear and prosper in a country no longer divided along the ambiguous lines of race. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and the members of our Town's Council do hereby recognize June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth in the town of Brighton. And we call upon all Brightonians to reject hate, repudiate racism, and promote Brighton's intentional culture of diversity, inclusion, and equity. And this proclamation has been signed June 11th, 2025. Okay. Oh, thanks. Thanks. We'll now begin the open forum, which we hold at the beginning of every town board meeting. The open forum, yes, you're welcome to stay, you're free to go. We do understand, and for those of you that were here for the Caribbean American Heritage Recognition, thank you for coming. So in the open forum, it's an opportunity for members of the public to address the town board concerning any matter relating to the town, whether or not it's an item on our agenda this evening. If you would like to speak in the open forum, and we do have one person who is already signed up to speak, and we'll get to you, Nora, first in a moment. But if you're here in person, please raise your hand when we start the open forum. When I call on you, please come up to the podium to speak. If you are participating in the meeting remotely and would like to speak, again, I would note you must please first join the Teams meeting, and there are instructions for doing that on the town's webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. You'll be admitted from the Teams waiting room, and you'll have the opportunity to be unmuted if you use the raised hand function. I would ask all speakers during the open forum, whether you're here in person or remotely, to please state your name and address before speaking. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and I will give a 30-second warning before your time expires. If you have questions, we may not be able to answer those questions, particularly if your question relates to a matter that's not on the agenda this evening. But our goal here tonight and during the town board, the open forum held at every town board meeting, is to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts with the board and for us to be able to listen to your words. Therefore, please direct your remarks to the town board and not to the room or other speakers. Please refrain from personal attacks and from outbursts of any kind, including applause, boos, or any similar disruption during the open forum, out of respect for our speakers and out of respect for everyone that's here tonight. Persons who don't follow these rules will be warned. Repeated failure to follow these rules or failure to follow other direction from the chair may result in your speaking privileges being ended early. I will call first. I've heard from a member of our community, Inora, if you would like to come share your thoughts with us.
Good evening. Town Supervisor Maley, esteemed members of the Town Board, and fellow residents of Brighton. My name is Honora Hervé. I live on 295 Bonnie Bray Avenue. I am 10 years old and currently a 5th grade student at French Road Elementary School. This fall, I will be attending 12 Corners Middle School. I am deeply honored to speak with you this evening about something that matters a great deal to me, the future of recycling in our town. Brighton is already a beautiful and welcoming community, and I am proud to call it my home. But even a great place can be made better, and I believe improving our recycling program is one way to do just that. Since the switch to the new recycling bins, I've noticed that pickup only happens every other week. For families like mine, who recycle more than we throw away, this has created a real challenge. Sometimes our recycling bin is full, long before the next pickup, and items that could have been recycled end up in the trash. We used to be able to use extra bins, but those are no longer accepted. I believe that offering either more frequent pickups or allowing additional bins again would make a big difference. In addition to recycling, I would love to see more ways for kids and neighbors to help our town. Things like more frequent cleanup crews, more available and accessible community gardening, or local fundraisers. These kinds of projects would bring people together, make Brighton even more beautiful, and give young people like me the chance to be involved and take care of the place we live. Thank you so much for listening. I would love to share more of my ideas. I truly hope the town board will consider my ideas and the voices of young people in our community. I would be thrilled to continue this conversation and help however I can. Being here tonight means so much to me, and I hope it's just the beginning. Thank you so much again for letting me speak here tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Nora, thank you so very much for that. I would ask you, if you don't mind, if you would like to give, I believe we have another copy of that, but if you would like to give that to Town Clerk Dan Amon, he will include it in the formal record of this meeting as part of the minutes. And that was a great presentation. And let me sort of address two parts, because the first part relates to some of the changes in our recycling program. And we have been working with Waste Management to smooth out some of the issues relating to the transition. Families will be able to get an extra 96-gallon toter as the Waste Management is transitioning to new one-person and sort of automated toters with an arm that reaches out, grabs the toter, dumps it in, and sets it back down. Not all of their trucks are using that, but before long they will. And for that reason, they can't use some of the kinds of containers that many of us may have used in the past, because the arm won't pick them up, or if it can, it will crush it, because it's pretty strong. But there will be an opportunity to get a second either recycling toter or refuse toter, although most of the people that have inquired are specifically talking about recycling. And I'm really pleased to hear that, because that tells me that Brighton residents are recycling a whole lot more than they are throwing stuff out, which is exactly what we want to see. I'm looking forward to hopefully working with Waste Management in the future, since they seem to be the only company large enough to also do large-scale, at-the-curb pickup of organic compost. And that's something that I'm hopeful that we can work with Waste Management on in the future. There are already, in other states, Waste Management has such programs. Or if there's another company that is able to bid on a district to do it. But and they're doing it for some commercial and educational facilities. But just like when we got those blue boxes, we all started recycling. Getting organic, the equivalent of an organic blue box, it wouldn't look like the blue box, but getting an organic container to put out at the curb so we don't have to take it somewhere will, I believe, really promote organic recycling. So those additional toters, the recycling toters, will be $60 a year additional. If you need a refuse recycling toter, it would be $100 a year, the difference in price being that the recycling is only picked up every other week and the refuse is picked up every week. So we're working out the logistics between our finance department, our clerk, and waste management to get those measures in place, hopefully very, very soon. But in terms of the other things you talk about, there's no question. You know, our kids are always teaching us about things like recycling, and I really appreciate. You know, you go to French Road School, and you see the recycling, including the organic recycling that's there, and it's great to see. And I appreciate your willingness to, you know, set up an organization or work with other organizations. And whether you do it through the school or whether you work with us here at the town or with your neighborhood association, we would love to see you succeed in that and, as you said, make a great town even better. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We really enjoyed your very thoughtful, well-said remarks. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board during the open forum tonight? We don't seem to have anybody remotely. If there is no one else here to address the board during the open forum, then Chris, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
To approve the agenda.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't know if this was my time. I thought we were going to present the, my name is Joe Mauer. I live at 110 Hollywood Drive. And I know the plan that put houses behind, in the wooded area behind the house off Winton is on the agenda tonight.
I don't know that it is on the agenda tonight. No, that's okay.
I think it might be going to the planning board next week. It was with the conservation board last night.
That's what I was wondering.
So next Wednesday.
Is it next Wednesday's planning board? Okay. No worries.
But at the
No,
planning.
but hang out and see how this goes too.
If you want to stay, you're welcome to, but don't feel you have to. It's an awful nice night. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry.
Motion then to approve the agenda.
Move that we approve the agenda.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Winter?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Ferrano?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Aye. I don't have an agenda here at my place. Thank you. Sorry. That actually, that public hearing, the next item, although it's listed as a public hearing, is actually setting a public hearing to be held on June 25th. You may recall we held a public hearing, I think, at the second meeting in April on the proposed stormwater management local law. We tabled it at that time. We wanted to give everybody an opportunity to review the draft, and now we want to bring it back from the table. Christine, can I have a motion to set a public hearing on that proposed local law for June 25th?
Yes, I move that we set a public hearing on June 25th, 2025 regarding local law number 1 of 2025 to amend Chapter 215 of the Code of the Town of Brighton for stormwater management. I move that we adopt the resolution before us,
Second.
or set that public hearing.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Here-
What's the continuation of the
It is a continuation of the initial.
no re-noticing as part of that, or would you like to re-notice?
I would like to renotice it, yes. Thanks, Dan. But it is on the same proposed local law. Hearing no further discussion, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mann?
Aye. Can I have a motion to receive and file our communications tonight?
I move that we receive and file the communications.
Second?
We have 6 items of communication, 7, and we'll add the communication we received during the open forum tonight. Starting with Chief Cathaldi's letter, the upcoming retirement of Sergeant Julio Montes. We're going to hate to see him go. He's been a stalwart, long-serving member of the force. We have communication from Ray Tierney with some response from myself, and also communication from Councilmember Corrado, both concerning the Route 286 project, the Browncroft Road project, which starts in Brighton and then extends into Penfield. Ray, as you may remember, for those of you that remember Ray's tenure on the town board, was very passionate about the current condition about Browncroft, and frankly, it hasn't changed since those times. We have a 55-mile-an-hour 4-lane road going down a hill with crossings. We have the entrance to the apartments. We have a street intersection. We have the entrance to a party house down Glendevere's down there at the bottom of the hill. And all of that in the face of drivers that, particularly going downhill, are going at a very high rate of speed all too often. And I agree with the thoughts of Ray, lowering the speed limit. A lane diet would certainly help encourage people to go at a slower speed. So I do hope that the state DOT very seriously considers both his and your comments. We also have communication from the county executive relating to an amended seeker notification concerning the Applied Technology Center at MCC, which of course is moving from West Henrietta Road in Brighton to the main campus on East Henrietta Road. We also have the kind of communication we love to get from Donna Fratangelo on East Avenue, thanking Melanie Natalie in our assessor's office for her good work, helping her out. And then finally, also the kind of communication we love to get. Rick Hauser, whom you may remember from Inside Architecture, we worked with his firm relating to the farmers market barn, to the renovation and expansion of the farmers market barn. And that project received top honors during the recent AIA Rochester Design Awards night. So kudos to everybody involved with that great, great project. So we have a motion to receive and file all of those items of communication. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mann?
Aye. Committee reports. Robin, Community Services.
Certainly. The Community Services Committee has not met in the intervening time frame since our last town board meeting, but I do have a few quick updates from our Parks and Recreation Department heads. From our Parks Department, the department welcomed another full-time grounds equipment operator today. We'd like to extend a warm welcome to Timothy Hahn. And crews are in full swing for the season with park maintenance projects and day-to-day operations on the trails. Then from our Recreation Department, The Brighton Summer Playground Camp registration is open for residents and non-residents alike. Full details can be found online. Camp registration has been very strong, so register early and don't miss your opportunity. Check out all of the outstanding activities and events that will keep you and your family busy this summer online at www.townofbrighton.org/rec, R-E-C. The Brighton Summer Farmers Market is now open at the Brighton High School parking lot, Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., so please do join us and explore all the wonders of the season. SNAP and EBT benefits are welcome. And in that vein, Juneteenth at the Brighton Farmers Market will be this Sunday, June 15th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., so please do join us as we commemorate Juneteenth at the Brighton Farmers Market on Sunday, June 15th. This event will include participation from the students of the African American/Black Studies Club at BHS. Representatives from the Rochester Black Community Focus Fund will also join us, and special music performances will be performed by Debbie Kendrick and a dance performance by Amber Wildegorges, accompanied by drum by Jennifer Jones. Finally, Carlos Merriweather will come as Frederick Douglass and welcomes people to take his picture with them. Our Brighton Seniors Lunches Out and About program continues, so check out our monthly calendar and join us on a lunch out and about in the community. The locations change, but we always have a good time with friends enjoying food and sometimes lively entertainment. Again, full details are online at the Brighton Recreation Department, where you can also find a full offering for the Brighton seniors. Our Bands at Buckland Summer Concert Series continues beginning Tuesday, July 8th at the Buckland Park at 1341 Westfall Road from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So join us for our free weekly concert series. Again, those extend from July 8th through August 12th. The full concert schedule is available now on the town website, and we want to thank our generous sponsors as always. Our next community bike ride will be on Friday, July 11th, 2025. This bike ride is free, but registration is required. You can, again, register on the Brighton Recreation website. And we have a bunch of other fun upcoming programs. In particular, I want to highlight Menopause Boot Camp, Build, Create, Learn, Lego Education for Kids, Horseback Riding, Pickleball, Mat Pilates, Tech Talks, Bridge, Dog Training, and so much more. So the next meeting of the Community Services Committee is next Wednesday, June 18th, from 10 a.m. or immediately following our Finance and Administrative Services Committee meeting at the Brighton Recreation Center Multipurpose Room. Please access the Recreation Department through the Winton Road exit or entrance. As always, members of the public are encouraged and invited to attend.
Thank you, Robin. Finance, Nate.
Thanks, Bill. The Finance and Administrative Services Committee last met on June 4th. We made the recommendation to accept two very generous donations of $280 each, one from Jackie Marchand, the owner of the Brighton-based Woman Tours, and one from our very own Councilmember Chris Werner and his wife Alyssa, to support the second and third Brighton Community Bikes Rides of 2025. And that's following the generous donation made by Christine Corrado over there. We also made these are easy recommendations to make, to accept money from our residents. So we made the recommendation to accept a $20,000 donation, which is very generous, from Paulette Palticic. Chief, help me out here. Paulette.
As good as I can do.
Okay, all right. To support the Brighton Police Department. And I know the chief has some great initiatives that he's working on with the department with that money. So thank you, Paula. That's very generous of you. We also approved the transferring of two old radar speed display signs to the Brighton Central School District to help improve their traffic safety on their school property. Finally, we heard a presentation from Enterprise Fleet Management on how their leasing program could help modernize our vehicle operations and save taxpayer dollars. Our next meeting will be held on June 18th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you, Nate. Public Safety, Chris.
Thanks, Bill. Bill, we had our public safety meeting yesterday, June 10th. We first had at open forum a presentation by GCI regarding a battery storage system that they propose to erect within the town of Brighton. They explained the associated hazards and emergency response and the training necessary to handle that fairly unique system that would store energy purchased currently at a lower cost during off hours and then be available for the grid during more expensive times and at times of greater demand. It's quite an interesting undertaking. It's one of the very first in the state of New York, but it's part of our governor's initiative to increase those sorts of storage facilities that would make full use of energy within New York State. Brighton Ambulance reported on their calls to date of 759 calls for service in the month of May, of which 759 calls for service, of which 473 were within the ambulance district, and also responded to 193 calls for mutual aid from other areas. Brighton has seen a volume increase of 8.323% from 2024, and that's largely due to the initial demand for mutual aid. Brighton is fully staffed, and many of the other ambulance services are not as well staffed as we are, and the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance is very well prepared to serve the community. The Brighton Fire Department advised that they responded twice to Pinnacle Hill, along with the Rochester Fire Department, to locate a biker who had fallen down, or ostensibly had fallen down the ravine there. And they later discovered that this biker had set up the call, that it was not really an emergency, and he is known to both the Irondequoit Fire Department and the Irondequoit Fire Department. But good work by the Brighton Fire Department and Rochester Fire Department for their coordinated response. They're also doing some joint planning in that same field as well. And they also participated in several neighborhood parades around Memorial Day in various neighborhoods. The police department reported on the bike rodeo of June 8th, which was extremely successful, thanks to Summit Federal Credit Union and Almer's Garage for the donation of 6 bikes that were given out to young children, and the Police Association donated 40 helmets for distribution as well. We are right now in the midst of Speed Awareness Week, June 9th through the 15th, with a high visibility campaign aimed at reducing speed-related crashes. Henrietta Fire District, which serves West Brighton, reported that they had 99 calls in May in West Brighton, none of any particular significance, and year-to-date calls 376. We also discussed the French Road Bridge and construction and the detour plan there as well, which is working well, and they've completed one side of the roadway there. We also discussed the installation now of stop signs at Meridian Center Boulevard, at the Office Park, and Summit Circle intersection. The sign's been installed there, along with signs at St. Regis North and Mayflower at the T intersection, with St. Regis and Mayflower, the T intersection along.
And setting the public hearing for that one is on tonight.
Thank you. Then we had a summary of the Brighton Police Department and Brighton Volunteer Ambulance readiness and training for mental health calls. This is something that underlies many of our calls for service in the town and generally for the police and ambulance services. I'm very pleased at the chief's report that 100% of our patrol officers have crisis intervention team training, also known as CIT. That's a very extensive training, and we are one of the, I think, perhaps the only police force in the state of New York, but generally has anywhere near our level of training. It takes some 40 hours of 5 full days of training for those officers, and 100% of our parole officers, patrol officers, and they are those that generally respond to such calls directly. Also, 100% of department personnel have mental health first aid training as well. And I appreciate that report by the chief. The date of the next meeting will be July 8th at 0800 hours.
Thanks, Chris. I do want to mention one other matter that was that we discussed briefly. Senate Bill 1515 would help volunteer ambulance agencies throughout New York State by exempting ambulance district charges from the tax cap. As you know, we have an ambulance district, and we have had for a long time. Residents of the community who benefit from the ambulance pay for ambulance service on their tax bills. But that's not the case in some communities, and in many of those communities, ambulance service is really struggling. You heard Chris talk about, even here in Monroe County, a number of other agencies are struggling to maintain staffing levels. This would help communities cover the cost of ambulance service without thereby putting into jeopardy their compliance with the state tax cap. I think that's a good way to help ambulance corps as part of the seamless provision of public safety emergency services, and I have let Senator Cooney know, as well as the Senator Stuart Cousins' office know that that's a legislation that I would support. So hopefully we'll see that come through and make sure that agencies like the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance do have sufficient funding to continue with their services. Christine, Public Works.
So Public Works followed Public Safety at 9:15. It was a very full public safety meeting. And then Public Works clocked in under 2 hours. So the world was upside down yesterday morning. I'll give you the highlights from the Public Works Committee meeting. You did hear some of what was discussed regarding waste management and our progress on getting service back for backdoor service customers and straightening out some of the wrinkles regarding the recycling toters. We also had a report that there are 22 new streets pending addition to the refuse district. So we are expanding the bulk purchasing of refuse service to cover 22 more streets in Brighton. I think that is 612 parcels, and bringing us up to over 5,000 customers in the district who will benefit from bulk purchasing. So we'll
And
be
in dollar terms, saving something close to $150,000 a year just for those new customers coming in.
Yes. Very exciting, and a lot of good work by Chad Roscoe to add them in to prepare their applications while simultaneously dealing with the ironing out of wrinkles. We had an update on the town hall renovation and site work and recreation project. At this time, the addition to the back of the building has been framed out, so that's getting very real. Any other highlights we should add, Commissioner?
The wells have been drilled.
Oh, yes, all the wells are in.
Yeah, the wells have been drilled. We're also in the process of reviewing the 90% designs for the parking and stormwater layout for Phase 2. So we're getting close to 100% designs on that as well. And we're doing the final reviews for that and hope to be ready.
We'll have that to share with the board
Every
Very-
bit.
yeah.
Every bit is moving along. It's getting more and more real. We had a brief update on Chelmsford Road safety issues. Staff are preparing estimates for options for controlling or reducing traffic speeds and increasing safety for the residents on Chelmsford. And those options include lighting, sidewalks, and speed humps. And residents will soon have an opportunity to see what it might cost to choose one or all on that menu. We had brief updates on New York State DOT projects. I think folks have been seeing all of the orange popping up near the bridges on Monroe Avenue, or over rather, Monroe Avenue and Allen's Creek, and that's in preparation for the major bridge project coming up. And you've already heard that that residents and council member have submitted comment on the upcoming work on Browncroft Boulevard. County DOT projects, all at a steady state. We haven't heard too much more recently on those. And town projects, the streetlight maintenance contract, the 12 Corners harp lamp retrofit, and the South Clinton new streetlight installation are all moving towards implementation. I believe contracts are about to be signed for those. And there was not too much more on the agenda. Full minutes will be available closer to the date of the next meeting, and that is July 8th at 9 o'clock, or later if public safety gets very, very busy.
Thank you, Christine.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I wanted to add, one thing came in over the transom. Folks have noted that on Elmwood Avenue, the new striping, new-ish striping, had faded. That was noted last summer. New asphalt is very thirsty. So last season, we notified the county DOT and said, it needs some sprucing up. They were able to fit in all of the restriping or repainting of the lines that run parallel to the edges of the street, and then weather got in the way. So they are pushing the painting of anything that's not in straight line orientation to the curbs. They'll be repainting the sharrows, the diagonal lines, anything that is
Crosswalks.
the crosswalks. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Crosswalks are the...
So that should be happening early in this construction season.
Thank you for that, Christine, and thank you, Nate. I know you responded, the community concerns that were raised. You spoke directly with the county. Christine, you advocating for that as well was
all of
really
the
important
voices.
in getting a good outcome, and we will be seeing that, improved, important striping very, very soon. We have no old business, new business, reading and approval of claims. Nate?
Yes, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $1,299,350.02. Notable claims include a payment for asbestos abatement as part of the town hall renovation project. Earl, I believe that might be maybe our last payment, knock on wood, for asbestos, because I believe that part of the project is ahead of schedule and under what we budgeted.
We may have a retainer to pay still, but
Right.
we're close to the end.
We're close to the end. Thanks, Earl. And it also includes a payment for a rooftop solar project for the Town Hall Pool, Buckland Park Lodge, Buckland Concessions, and Meridian Center, which is very exciting that our town is continuing to progress on our environmental goals. All claims appear to be in order, and I move for them to be approved.
Second?
Discussion? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Christine, why don't you, I'll have you do both of the next two, one at a time, the two bike donations.
Yes, the next, and I'm delighted to do this. The next matter seeks to accept a donation from Woman Tours to support the July Brighton Community Bike Ride in the amount of $280. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
And
Any discussion?
Just also note that Jackie Marchand also serves on our Parks and Recreation Board, and appreciate her work there. She's excellent.
Yes, she is dedicated to recreation in Brighton and very specifically on two wheels.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye, and the next one.
And the next matter seeks to accept a donation from, a generous donation from Town Council member Christopher Werner and his lovely wife, Alyssa.
And I would note that the agenda should be amended to reflect Alyssa's name as
How
well.
did we get that approved?
Yeah, I want to be sure you're okay when you get home, so make sure. To support the September Brighton Community Bike Ride in the amount of $280. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
Discussion.
Well,
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Alyssa. And thank you,
Christine.
Jackie and Women Tours.
Yes,
And thank you, Christine, for supporting the first one.
these rides have really, they took off last year. Great attendance, great participation, and the first ride this year was super well attended. So we anticipate the next two should be just as much fun.
Great.
Excellent.
Holding my breath to see how the vote goes here.
Anything further? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye, write your check, Chris. Thank you.
Already written the check. I think it's clear now.
Chris, the next matter, please.
Bill, the next item is to declare a surplus to Elan City Evolis radar screen displays, signs, and related batteries for transfer of the equipment to the Brighton Central School District. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
Thank you, Nate. Discussion on this, Chief? Anything more
No,
than
they're
what's
just-
in your letter?
No, they're outdated.
Yes.
We just can't use them anymore, so hopefully the school can find a use for them.
Good. Anything further? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye, and Chris, why don't you do the next one?
So the next item is to accept a donation from Paulette Polich to support the police department in the amount of $20,000. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
And a
Second?
Second.
I think I heard Robin. This is an extraordinary donation, and we are really grateful to Ms. Polish. Chief?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough. She came into it was really a cold call. We spoke over the phone. She wanted to donate some money. She came into the police. She was adamant. She came into the police department with a check. I gave her the tour of the police department. We talked about some of the initiatives that we have currently underway, and then I have planned for the future, some health and wellness initiatives for the police officers. And she knew more about what I was talking about than as soon as there's a program called Transcendental Meditation, which is a form of meditation to help police officers relieve stress. And she started telling me about the program. She graduated with a PhD from the U of R in 1972. She was just a really sweet lady, and I couldn't thank her enough for the donation.
Fantastic.
It is amazing.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. I would just ask, and I know you'll do this, Chief, as we accept it, send a letter acknowledging our truly grateful appreciation for the donation. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye. Robin?
Certainly. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to execute a change order with Vargas Associates for move management in an amount not to exceed $1,930. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
As you can see, in the letter, they will be asked to move some items from the assessor's office into storage, and the cost is the cost reflected here in the change order. Anything further? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Christine?
Yes, the last matter seeks to, let me be sure I've got it in front of me here, pardon me.
The public hearing for local law
Yes.
number 2.
Oh, got it there. All right, the next matter seeks to schedule a public hearing for proposed local law number 2 of 2025, amending section 18543 of the Town Code with respect to stop intersections and stop signs, as referenced earlier by Councilmember Werner on Mayflower Drive. And that public hearing will be set for
July 9th.
July 9th.
July 9th. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Again, we heard about this location, we discussed it. This one in particular, as opposed to some other T intersections, has some sightline visibility issues. Of course, T intersections like that, the street that's dead ending is a stop, whether or not there is a stop sign there by vehicle and traffic law. But given the sightline issues near that corner, it made sense to, reinforce that with a stop sign. We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, we've discussed several of the matters that I was going to mention here, in particular the town hall project and where we're at and the geothermal wells. But I also want to mention, we think about it as during the leaf season, but our highway crews are picking up lawn and garden debris as they do most of the year when they're not focused on leaves. And the same way as is the case with leaves, please, if you can containerize in those big brown paper bags or in some other kind of container. Our containerized crews circulate regularly, and they will get picked up more quickly. If it's so much and you need to do it in bulk, that's fine too. But please remember, whether it's containerized or in bulk, do not put it in the street. Please. We've had a lot of rain lately. Folks that had their debris in the street, in a lot of cases, found it washed down to the nearest storm drain. That blocks the storm drain. That can cause local flooding. And it can also cause ponding that is hazardous to not only drivers but cyclists. So please, when you have lawn and garden debris, pile it in the tree lawn, pile it on the grass next to the street, or you can take it down to the highway department at 1941 Elmwood Avenue. And when you're there, don't forget you can pick up mulch. Last meeting or 2 meetings ago, I don't remember which, we approved the contract this year for the firm that mulches, that collects the debris up at our Browncroft Green landfill collection site. And we get to keep some of that. We take it down to the highway department. You can pick it up there and use it in your garden. So we think of the highway department maybe plowing snow, but they do a lot of work, and we appreciate all that Superintendent Bill Hafner and his crew does. Matters of the attorney to the town. Lauren, it's great to see you tonight.
Thank you for having me. I know I'm not usually at this meeting, but just for the record, I'm Lauren Barron, the other half of your legal team for the town. I'm always at the Zoning Board, Planning Board, and Historic Pres Commission meetings, but when John Mancuso is unavailable, I will also be covering town board meetings. So after conferring with John earlier today, I have no update, but I would request an executive session for the board to discuss 2 personnel matters, one matter relating to the employment of a particular person and one matter relating to the promotion of a particular person. Thank you.
And I think there actually will have a third matter to discuss, also related to personnel. Matters of the town clerk.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Matters of the town board.
Bill, I wanted to report on the waste management service on my street just today. I know there's been a lot of controversy about the new toters and the new schedules and items that are outside of your toter and so forth. I couldn't have been treated better by Waste Management today. I had a somewhat catastrophic leak in my roof, which caused me to take a lot of barrels of debris out to the street. It was very simple to go on the website, ask for a bulk pickup. They asked how many cans, or the site asked how many cans I was putting out. I put one, no charge. I got to 5, and they said $20. I paid, and they came by as anticipated on my regular day, and I kind of waved down the new driver, Dorel, who's a lovely guy. And he couldn't have been happier to talk about the new service and operating the truck, which looked like a lot of fun, Nate. If you want a new job, it's the one you want.
All right.
They picked up those, and he then went around the block himself. He said, I'm going to pick those up for you myself. And he came by with the arms, and he dumped 5 barrels into his truck and then picked up 4 barrels, 4 drywall buckets full of debris and threw them in, and could not have been happier to provide that service. And he didn't know I was on town board until afterwards, and I told him that I was going to report favorably on the service. So, folks, just use the website. It worked excellent. He said if he hadn't done it, the other truck was going to be by to pick the stuff up. And then, of course, the recycling truck came by about a couple hours later as a separate load. So as far as my experience so far, it's been great. Yes, it's a change for folks. It's going to take some adjustment for us, but I'm looking forward to a real good service.
Thank you. Robin.
Yeah, I did just want to talk more about Juneteenth this year, because the theme for Juneteenth 2025 is a reckoning, reclaiming the past, remembering Black voices, and reshaping the future. And I think it's problematic, given the Juneteenth theme this year, that the decision was made to unilaterally cancel our traditional town hall Juneteenth commemoration, which actually predated the arrival of the town's chief diversity officer, Marion Moore. So certainly I feel could have been held despite her absence. The Juneteenth theme emphasizes the importance of acknowledging and confronting historical injustices while celebrating Black voices and experiences. It aims to foster a deeper understanding of the intertwined histories of Black and white Americans, encouraging discussions about the legacy of slavery and its ongoing impact in our society today. The theme reflects a commitment to not only remember the past, but also to actively shape a more equitable future. The spirit of all that is Juneteenth was undermined by this breaking with a beautiful tradition that was still in its infancy in an attempt to silence my voice as a Black woman. So what I said in 2019 at our town hall Juneteenth commemoration remains true today. As we recognize Juneteenth, we must be cognizant that our efforts are purely performative and self-serving unless we authentically center the community to which this celebration truly belongs. We must recognize the dichotomy of Juneteenth as we raise a flag in a community that is largely racially segregated and still bears the scars of restrictive covenants, redlining, and steering. Juneteenth is more than an observance and a celebration of freedom. It's also a time to recognize the continual struggle for equity. It's a holiday that perfectly illustrates that two seemingly opposing things can be true at the same time. In the interest of reckoning, reclamation, and remembering this Juneteenth, I want to recognize Ma'afa, which is the Swahili word for great tragedy, and is a term used to refer to the centuries-long enslavement and murder of millions of Africans by white Europeans, North Americans, and others, and the lasting impacts on the people of Africa and of the African diaspora. Ma'afa is the genocide of Africans through chattel slavery. The term emphasizes that the cultural genocide that occurred in chattel slavery was not simply an unintentional result of the system, but rather part of its design. Particularly as we recognize the deep cultural importance of Caribbean American Heritage Month, I think it is important to recognize the Ma'afa as directly related to the colonization of the Caribbean and as an extension of the African diaspora. The firmity of Caribbean culture and its contribution to American culture is also a reflection of the dichotomy that is Juneteenth. So for the second time in 6 years in a town in which I am the only Black elected currently and the second Black woman to serve in elected office, and the only member of the town board directly impacted by chattel slavery in the Americas, I was not asked to offer my perspective on Juneteenth. And again, I had to channel my inner Shirley Chisholm and pull up my folding chair to the table, so to speak. And in celebrating Juneteenth as a nation that still has a long way to go to achieve racial equity, we must ensure that we uplift directly impacted voices, but do not appropriate space. We must ensure that we observe and listen, but do not undermine the leadership of those directly impacted. And most importantly, we must use this opportunity to do better. I challenge everyone, again, as we observe Juneteenth, to disrupt their own patterns today and spend time in predominantly Black spaces, take an action to support Black joy, get involved in an effort that supports equity and justice in our community. In other words, this Juneteenth, again, I challenge all of you to lift that veil, embrace the dichotomy, and appreciate that one's own truth is not the only truth. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of particular people?
Bill, I move that we go into executive session to discuss the employment of particular people.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Ann, please call the roll.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Councilmember Salzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Maley?
Aye. I do want to thank our ASL interpreters. Your work, as always, is very important to us, and we appreciate it. I do not anticipate that we will be coming back into public session after the executive session. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 25th, here at Empire State University at 7 p.m. Have a great evening, everyone.